cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven.
No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through Huntertain. He's just gonna solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Adelaide immediately comes back and fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
It is still playoff time here over in CGL, and it's going to be an exciting day for us as we are in the lower tier of the NA Grandmaster tier. We have IUPUI Classies Kittens versus Worker Union and Shadowfang. It is go home. Well, it is win or go home at this point, being in the lower bracket.
Yeah, it really is. This is where the matches get a little bit more intense, typically, just due to that fact. Teams are really fighting it out to see who can survive. And especially with these two teams, both of them got to be reeling from their last loss, especially Workers Union, as we can see from the bracket here, that they lost a very, very close match. You can see right there up at the top, 3-2 to Mythos Gamera, the #1 seed. So they are wanting to get back to potentially, face them again at some point in this tournament. I imagine they would have to, obviously at some point. But that's their big motivation here, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and with Mythos being honestly the favorites to go ahead and win this entire thing, to take them to map 5, that still gives you a level of confidence, but still it also does something to a team to come so close just to barely not make it. But, on the other side of things, we have Classies Kittens, where if you look over there, they ended up getting 3-0'd by Cerberus and then got the bye to end up getting into this match. So there is still a bit of a difference of momentum where at least Worker Unions had this opportunity where they got really close to being the #1 seed. And even with a loss, with the map 5, you still have to be confident about that to some degree.
Yeah, most definitely, especially when Mythos has only lost, if you count the mid-season tournament, 2 games over the course of this entire season. So you have to feel really good about that if you're the side of Workers Unions. And if you're Classies Kittens, you really want to, come into this strong. Speaking of which, here's their lineup. We got Classy Crew and Closed Casket on that DPS with Swanky Sloth running that tank line. And then you got iDonut and Meek on that support line. This looks like, a comp that I would actually like to see. Just looking at these heroes right here.
Yeah, taking into consideration that Orisa kind of got hit into the ground a little bit, so there is the potential for a lot of variation. Winston, a character that could come out a decent amount, and honestly, I would not be mad to see it whatsoever. But, it's something we're going to have to wait and see. Dive is not viable on every single map like kind of Orisa was. But, no, it is a good-looking comp. I really hope we see it. But on the other side of things, I don't know if this is the comp I want to see with the Workers Union, their starting lineup. We have Alzors and Narnar Binks starting out on the DPS. Alzors on the tank, while Hollywood and Milk will be on the support line. Now, this is the high-damage composition that I would not want to run into in any game I'm playing.
Oh, yeah, no, you're not lying about that. Alzor's got to be crazy, though. One controller on the hand and the other controller with the feet, maybe. That's a talented player right there. Oh, man. But I could see a Ram coming out. Ram seems to be, a little bit back since you can't just perma spear him with Orisa anymore. I mean, I guess you technically still could do that, but it's not as viable to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, not really. I feel like you could, in some ways, if you still wanted to the Risa, it's not the worst tank to play. And some teams might still opt to it to some degree because it is just a level of comfortability from having to play Orisa for so long. But either way, something we're going to have to wait and see as we'll talk about the first map we're going to be going into. And that's going to be Oasis, which, I'll say interesting because I don't see Oasis come out a whole lot so far from all these brackets, all of these teams. So with Oasis, this is a map which, outside of University, can favor a lot of those dive styles.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm thinking that that Workers Union thinks they have a stronger dive composition, and perhaps they want to go to this map and run a dive comp. I've seen, and again, this is in my lower tier games that I play in. I've been seeing a lot of like the Winston Rush comp actually coming back into play. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like maybe some Winston Moira Lucio type of stuff potentially. I don't know. I haven't really seen too much high level play since the patch happened. So I'm really curious to see what these two teams are going to opt for.
Yeah, from the experience that I've kind of had so far within scrims, within seeing other matches, I've seen Winston come back into play. I've seen Mauga come back into play, Romatra getting a little bit as well. Even to a small extent, Hog, which seems to be a little better tail right now. Obviously, nothing solidified until we get out the gate here, but Workers Union looking pretty honest about what they're going to run. But Classy's Kittens, are they going to keep this?
If you're gonna keep it, the Kiriko's probably the best thing. It gets rid of all of Hog's weaknesses.
Hey, you know what? Hey, not wrong about that. So right now, for Workers Union, prioritizing getting up to this high ground, making sure they don't get booed away by Hollywood or pulled down by Elzors, who's just kind of hoping to cause some kind of separation here. As Workers Union already realized the move coming through, gonna be able to stay alive, but now Classy going to be separated from the rest of their team, and Workers Union kind of in a situation where they just want to make sure they stabilize, stay together, drop down when that point unlocks, choose somebody to go after. But Classy is going to go down first, losing the ability to kind of have that wall. Now Nanar just needs to find the finish onto somebody over here, getting moved away a little bit. But at the end of the day, Workers Union slowly falling apart. This strategy worked out very early here for Classy's Kittens. Not expecting to come out to the Hog, I guess.
Hog is one of those characters. There is a fine line between Hog just ruining games, as I like to say, and being a terrible pick. And we're about to cross over that fine line where Hog is going to be in every one of your games. But side note, Narnar Binks almost has this blade already, so you know they gotta be putting in that big shuriken damage, and especially trying to go into a May Reaper with that. That's really hook. Ooh. Such a good hook.
Yeah, but now they have to move in to be able to save them. Donut going to go down pretty early here, getting a little bit of pressure on the Alzors. And honestly, at this part, Narnar might even really need to use the blade as close casted. Going to have to go into their Wraith form, not able to make it in time. Hollywood going to stop them. You see the point trying to be flipped over right now, unfortunately not going to come to fruition. So not even having to use the blade here, and still Meek not quite there to that beat. So it's going to be a question if they can get it on time or not.
Yeah, and I mean, that was all really just set up by Alzors landing that huge hook onto Classy and putting them out of position. And then look, we're seeing the Moira swap come out from Donut as well. I should say they're swapping off of Moira to the Kiriko.
Not a bad idea, all things considered. Now Nanar going up with the blade here, going away. Whole Hog as well. And the Kitsune Rice. To set all three, the beat comes out, going to basically negate all that coming through. Narnar not able to find anything. Swankysoft able to finish them all. Things tying up. Eventually, the freeze coming online. Hoping to get Alzor inside of it. They managed to catch Coach as well, but they need to get rid of one of them. Coach at least going to go down, but Hollywood does have the option to come back, potentially use this beat, and they're going to go for it with the heavy investment. They want to end this first round right here, right now. But Close Classes still has the trump card if they really wanted to try to clutch this thing out. And unfortunately for Donut, separated away from their team, is going to manage to TV back just in time. We're hoping to stabilize back, but Donut already going to go down once again. Close Casket, Swanky just need to use these ultimates. Unfortunately, now it's going to be in complete desperation. Close Casket hoping to get something right now. They're still holding on to it, and they will send it on to Milk, and Milk alone. Unfortunately, Swanky, the only person there, eventually going to get eliminated. Meek and Classy trying to make it back. Unfortunately, not going to be able to. And Classy Kitten starting out fantastic on this mix of the Hog and that Genji, just absolutely dominating Workers Union out the gate here.
Yeah, I mean, that was honestly a really crazy first round, and especially uh, that recontest from Workers Union to bring that map back. I'm realizing now that that's actually Workers Union with Alzors and Coach here on our left side. So, um, yeah, great recontest there from Workers Union to take that map back. And like you said, the Hog is actually just absolutely killing it right now for them. Alzors is just, for all intents and purposes, unkillable.
I mean, yeah, 100% correct about that. Let's come out here. Looking at a couple of changes here. Big changes. We have Venture making their debut here today. Swanky Sloss over on the Malga as well. Going to be a lot of damage output here, so it's going to be really tough right now for Alzors to work around this, but still, they're going to take that fight pretty quickly. Swanky pulling them away. Swanky's still just trying to separate a little bit. Going to have a little bit of trouble for the time being. They just need to let this fight kind of go into more close corridors. Hook is going to be out. Coach is going to be down. Classy going to try to help out with the backline as Donut ends up going down, so back to a 4v4 situation. Point unlocked, but nobody going for it, and unfortunately for Swanky Souls and the others, bit of a bad situation, but Classy is able to tie things up once again. Looking like they will be able to start with the point eventually, but hey, color me surprised as they will get the point. Unfortunately, likely not going to hold on to it for very long.
Yeah, Swanky is having some real difficulties getting in on this Maga pick right now. And you just kind of need to be able to do that if you're going to play that hero into this Hog. You kind of just need to be in the Hog's face, constantly shooting them. Good kills, though, by Coach. My goodness.
Yeah, 100% here is only 19% online. Looking at ults real quick, we see the support ults coming up online. Donut a little behind, but Beats will be around at the same time. Milk is going to have that early Kutsune rush, though, so likely, I imagine, going to be the initiation ultimate. Might end up seeing the trade of the Beats back as well. But you do have to worry about Narnar getting 80% over to that blade. Nothing on the Hook, as Working Union, unfortunately, going to lose Swanky Sloss early on. Fight should be as good as over, but with Milk going down, still a possibility. Unfortunately, Coach going to go for it, and the B ends up being expelled now, and they throw the beat on top of it. They're doing everything in their power to win this, and they eventually will, and will take the fight. Unfortunately, that means they will no longer have the beat coming up for this blade from Narnar. But I mean, investment ends up. That's just an unfortunate beat there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you've already lost your Maga, and here we go. We see Swanky deciding to swap over to this Sigma. That's a pretty good pick too against the Hog, I would think. It's just tough if you're not just inting into the Roadhog and shooting them as Maga, you're just gonna die. And here comes the Kitsune.
Yep, and here comes that first blade ready to go. Narnar needs to find somebody that was going to find one. Looks for the second. Unfortunately, going to be taken out. Damage might already be done. Now Alzor is going to find the 2K with the whole Hog. Make it the third. Leading things up here, and now one fight away from taking this Oasis very swiftly. Unfortunately, they do empty the rest of their bank to be able to win that fight.
Yeah, but on the positive note, you're only looking at an overclock for the side of Kittens as well, so you're not having too much to deal with. And if Alzors just lands a hook on them, that's quick and easy.
Yep, gonna get rocked away, but still not nearly low enough. And here comes the background with Flow's Casket. Still has the overclock ready to go. Just have to slide out of there. Swanky Slug going to go down early. We see the pull back in. Alzor's getting rid of another. Classy, though, keeping their team alive right now, has managed to get rid of two, but they really need to find one more to try to bring this one back a little bit. Unfortunately, Alzor staying alive is just making this a non-winnable condition. And unfortunately, the ball coming back going to be the last person on the point. Swanky Slog just hoping to stall for as long as they can. Unfortunately, it's so much damage output, not going to be able to. And that is one heck of a round here for Workers Union. Incredible start as well. And I don't want to say unorthodox necessarily with the Roadhog, as you did kind of allude to before getting into this, but I mean, the Ramacha couldn't do a thing to it. The Malcolm, not even either.
No, like I keep saying, there's a fine line between Roadhog being a throw pick and a meta pick, and we are crossing over that line right now with the recent Orisa nerf. Hog has gotten these little slight micro buffs time and time again. And he's one of those heroes, just like Malga, where Malga is either awful or the best tank in the game. Hog is usually either awful or the best tank in the game. There's usually no in between. And so I'm not surprised because I see it a lot in my games as well. People will just insta-lock Hog and just solo carry. Like, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah, and I guess not too shocking to see it here at the end of the day. We'll kind of wait and see what Classic Kittens is going to pick for their next map. But you got to see them pull off the Hog. And the thing is, Hog does have a lot of utility, whether you're playing a dive map, whether you're playing a brawl map, you can still run the Hog in a lot of those situations. So it becomes the question of, what kind of map do we want to bring it to? Because we realized, okay, we couldn't use the Magda, we couldn't end up using the Ramatra. Do we decide to go with something where dive is something that is a little more favorable, a place where we can perhaps either eventually force them into uncomfortable positions, or just be confident enough that our dive can beat that Roadhog combo?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's the most difficult part about playing the dive into the Hog, is you can potentially just get hooked and Hog does so much damage, you're just dead. Just insta dead. And that's the thing, I actually like the Genji pick along with the Hog, because you could potentially get a dash on somebody that the Hog doesn't one-shot in any circumstance. So it's like there's several opportunities for you to get a lot of kills here. I would think they're gonna pick something like Eichenwald, and I swear I was not looking at the map when I saw it come up.
I have no reason to not trust you on that one. We'll assume such, but you know, I do agree. Eichenwald ends up being a pretty good map, but you know, on the same side of things, Workers Union is going to be able to choose what side they want to start on. I imagine they're probably going to start on defense with that Hog composition again. The question really does come down to what Classic Kittens want to run to start things out here, and honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they ran something among like Flyer, something like the Echo has been coming into popularity once again, and I could definitely see that being effective, and especially first and second point, super effective character to play. So I think they have a big grounds in terms of the ability to play whatever they want to play. Just has to work against that Hog, because Alzors is being an absolute menace throughout Oasis.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Kittens commit to like a hard poke composition, at least for first point, because we did see them swap over to a Sigma there towards the end of map 1. So it wouldn't shock me if you just like full commit, do like a, I don't know, like a Bap Lucio Sigma type of composition. I mean, you could like, do something like that and have like a Bastion turret and just attempt to mow down Hog as fast as possible, if that's really something that you want to do, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious kind of how that's going to go down, as we will take a look, and it does look like indeed Workers Union going to choose to defend first, and we have Venusaur coming in on the tank now, going to be rocking that Ramatra. Meanwhile, still winning what Classic Kittens going to run. Definitely not much of a preview quite yet, but Cassidy, another one of those characters that has come back into popularity, something that I believe we honestly could really see here. I'm curious to see how close Cassidy does on it, because unfortunately that Reaper not too good in that situation, but Workers Union, I mean, the interesting thing is that they are abandoning the Hog, and they're choosing this Ramatra composition that they will be able to play hard against this initial choke.
Yeah, I do like any sort of brawl composition on this first point in particular, just because there's not really too much in terms of high ground. There's a couple of spots, but nothing you can't get too quickly. Oh, we see the emerald skin here on this Ramatra too. I can't wait to see the emerald hands.
Interesting. I want to see those emerald punches, as starting things out here. A lot of spam damage going to come through for Classic Kittens, especially Class C, and Meek to an extent as well. Should be able to get a lot of damage off, but what you see from Workers Union is, well, outside of the, I was about to say, the exception of Venusaur, kind of staying out of lines, make sure not to get a ton of splash damage for Classy, as you're already only at 20% right now with Swanky already down. Classy not going to be too far behind. Fight already over with now. Workers Union going to be able to clean things up. You're trying to get rid of Close Casket, not going to be able to, but Donut does end up dying. So Workers Union, they again, this team knows exactly how they want to play this choke.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of, like you said, not taking any of that poke damage. And the Junkrat can't really just sit and spam main. The Junkrat has to find some odd angle and do, like, you know, weird Junkrat things if they want to get damage off here. Otherwise, that's going to happen.
Yeah, going to be able to get away with 2 kills. Going to be able to survive from it as well. Helping make it a 3rd. Eventually going to be a 4th. Needs to get that kill. Narnar eventually will help out with it. And I think, I was going to ask, yeah, they're probably going to swap it up. D was a good pick. They're going to go over to the Sojourn as well. And A little bit of showing up for Narnar. You know what? I understand it.
I like the swaps here. The Junkrat was, like I said, it was just going to be really difficult to get an angle unless you're just one of those crazy Junkrat players that has every angle already.
100% now. So I do like the swaps, but at the end of the day, it is still going to be a weird situation right now. You do have the BAP Send, something you would attribute more with Poke style. And now Classy are going to be taken back down. And not only this, Swanky going to be taken out of the mech. Not going to be really stalled out. I guess they're confident by the fact that they don't need to. Cleaning these up once again. Half the time already eliminated. The bright side, though, is that you do have that Transcendence online, but it's really only going to be good for Narnar's Blade, honestly.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you can deny here. And then, like, you still have to force out Hollywood's beat before you even get the opportunity to get a kill onto Workers Union. This is going to be an insanely tough fight for Kittens to try and win.
Yeah, Deadeye is online though. Window coming as well. Here comes the overclock though. Classy does find the opening pick. Coach needs to be getting rid of those. They already have one. Eventually going to get the second one, taking Swinky out of mech. Not even going to bother staggering them out. It basically ends up getting a 4K for Coach. Cleaning things up, they do end up using, I think, 3 of their ultimates for that fight. Classy not using anything though, interestingly enough.
Yeah, if you're the side of Classy, you're pretty happy with that, honestly. You got Blade out for really nothing, so you're really happy to see that. All you have to do now is get this beat out of Hollywood and not die like that, you know?
Yeah, step 1 of Overwatch, do not die, unfortunately. Not taken care of. Coach, though, is super low. Trying to slide out, will be able to do so when Swanky, unfortunately, going to be in a position where they're knocked out of mech, and they have no reason to kill them. But they eventually will. Anyway, 50 seconds left. Gonna have close to all 5 ultimates online. You just have to go for it at this point. Like,
yeah, you need to, if you're the side of Classy Kittens, you need to just communicate to each other, hey, if we force this beat out of Hollywood, we need to just use all of our ultimates the second that happens, because we can win once that happens. There's a chance.
Yeah. And also, they need to come in with the aggro, and they go with double support ultimate to start things out here. So now that B is going to come in for free. Venusaur can come in with this if they want to, but guess what? They don't really have to right now. Swanky Sauce ends up finding what I think is one of the first kills, and they're just going to clean things out. The bomb going to come online. Nobody should be caught with that, except Hollywood somehow does, but a fortunate thing for Classy's Kittens is no one's going to be able to make it back to this point. Nobody can DP like through the speed of time, and no ticks for them, so Workers Union just need the 1 tick on their attack, and I mean, you can tell right now that this is the team that ended up pushing Mythos to the absolute limit in that map 5. Like, it is clear how confident, how good this team is.
Yeah. The way that Workers Union is positioning themselves and the way they're moving around the map is just, it's superior. Like, it is just clearly superior right now. Like, I can't say anything wrong with anything they've done so far. Like, they are playing this picture perfectly. Double support ults, what do? Hey, we just climbed up to high ground and just stood there while you guys walked forward and used your ultimates, and then we just waited, beat it, and then ran at you. Like, that's that's a really smart rotation to make.
Yep, 100%. Coming out here, Workers Union gonna be running. I want to see the Ryan. Give me the Reinhardt. As Classy Kittens, though, if this is what they're coming out with, I mean, I don't hate it by any means, but unfortunately, I don't think Swanky knows they're gonna be running into a Reinhardt, which, with the Queen, not the best matchup in the world. Please, all I know, just please keep the Reinhardt. That's all I want.
I think the Ryan's gonna be here to stay. Workers Union is feeling beyond confident right now, so they're probably just wanting to, strut their stuff a little bit here with this Ryan.
Yeah, can't blame them whatsoever. Door's going to open up. Classy's Kittens got to have the hold of their life here to stop them from going to match point. Putting out on that Reinhardt. Now, biggest thing here is close casket. They're going to be able to have, their turret form. Going to use it very early, though, so the moment that runs out, they're going to back up a little bit, and it's going to come out, and they're going to full-on rush in. Narnar is going to end up forcing things out a little bit. Venusaur, though, already helping find a second. Right now, Swanky needs to find one more pick. Is getting a couple people super low. Unfortunately, needs to find an actual pick here. Will get Venusaur eventually. Needs to come together on another one here, but they will be able to stabilize a little bit. But already the damage is already being done as the rest of Classic is trying to get back on time for this next fight.
Yeah, I mean, great work by Swanky just staying alive there and managing to get a kill onto the Ryan. And you just want to see this team get a solid reset here, and Milk almost has this amplification matrix, so you're going to want to watch out for that.
Yeah, knife already going to be used. Hollywood was kind of hanging out in the background there a little bit, managed to stay alive that entire time. As Meek coming up to this beat, and it's super important that they get it online here. As Swanky already going to go down Meek. Again, this beat could be the saving grace for this team, as Close Casket is going to manage to find one, does pay the price, but Milk is still on the scene, getting another. Meek sitting at 98%, 99, B coming online, going to keep 3 people alive, as Swanky Sloth going to make their way back. Milk going to go down, still holdable for the time being, but Classicans need to find another pick here, as Coach has been on the scene the entire time, getting pick after pick. Blade coming online. Nobody gonna be able to make it back, as Swanky Sloth will not be able to touch. Workers Union will take us to a match point here with all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, I mean, just a complete and utter dominant performance, honestly, especially from Hollywood. Like, Hollywood shout out on this map, just constant picks on this Lucio. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, after that very first fight there on their attack, I saw the glimpse of it. They were hanging around, like, in the second point, like, castle. I saw them in there wondering, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then they come in from the side, and they end up helping out with the window. I mean, it's good stuff. And, again, this is just the confidence of a team that knows that if they run back in the Mythos again, that, hey, we can win this. And now the goal is we just need to get back to that position. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, genuinely, that's the confidence that this team has, even after taking a loss like that.
All right, if I'm Classy's Kittens, I'm picking New Junk City just because everyone always picks Saravasa, and I just need to do something off the wall to try and get the momentum back in my favor. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing if I'm them. They may just pick Saravasa because it is the more comfortable map of the two for basically everybody. But you know, that's just my thoughts. What do you think?
Look, if it's me and I'm down 2-0 in a series like this where you are now in a position where genuinely you have nothing to lose. You are in a genuinely bad position now with the way the momentum is flying. Honestly, if they were confident taking the Reinhardt fight just then, just send it back. Send it back and play your game, play your pace, play the very best you can. That's genuinely the answer in my head, because it's clear that you're not beating them on the compositions you've been trying to run these first 2 maps. So at this point, you might as well try to go beat them at their own game. Like, that's just what comes to mind, because it's not like you have an abundance of options left now being in this position.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Definitely fair. And I think both teams are gonna have to run some sort of rush composition as well, just with it being 100%. Flashpoint. And did they take my advice? They did not. They opted for Saravasa, the casual pick. No one ever picks New Junk City. It's my favorite of the 2 Flashpoint maps. But
I mean, my scrimming team, we pick New Junk City all the time. We love New Junk City.
Like nobody ever asks me what map I want to see.
No, but this does mean that with Saravasa, this is the one of the 2 that does have a little more open points, a little more open areas as well. So the Reinhardt might not be the thing we see. You could still run it. I don't think it's as efficient. So we could see something like the... what could come back out? We could see the Ramatra come back out. We could see the Malga come back out. It's gotta be something brawl related. Like,
hey, if Workers Union is feeling really spicy, they might do Wrecking Ball. I don't know what's happening at this point, honestly.
Gator.
Because you can see right there, Workers Union has a Pharah. I've seen Coach play this Pharah too, so this could actually be the pick that's happening.
You know what? It genuinely would not surprise me at this point. Classy Kittens, I mean, I imagine Close Casket is going to come out, TP them out, go back. Probably go over to the Tracer, which I don't think we've seen a Tracer up until this point, if I'm not mistaken. But it's going to come out on it. Are they going to swap it? They're keeping it?
I want to see this Venture. I want to see Venture try and kill Pharah. Like, I want to see it happen. I think that would be really awesome.
I mean, I want to know the sauce behind this Symmetra pick here, as Cleanse is going to come out. No plans to be able to save this before it's now going to pressure them out a little bit. Close Casket going to be the first one to go down. And now Classicans already going to be in a really weird situation. Coach literally already at 60% to this ultimate and counting. Is going to get this thing super quickly here right now. Point going to flip over to Workers Union first and foremost. Cleanup coming through. Cleanse has already come online. already sitting at 86% and counting. Now, here's the thing really quick. You can run a Symmetra, that's fine, but you need a shield for your Symmetra to be able to get in and play close like that and sustain. You have to.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough trying to play the sim with the queen. Like, I don't see it working personally. It's just gonna be too difficult. And then, like you said, Coach already has this barrage. There's no way they think Coach has barrage already. So this is gonna be, second Suzu goes out, Coach is gonna just blast on them.
They're literally just going to go in mega quick. They're going for the high ground, ready for the drop. 3, 2, 1. See it. They're gonna go in, gonna get rid of one. We do see Milk go down. Nearly gets that amazing connect. And this fight looking like it's winnable for Classy's Kittens. They do get rid of Milk, so not going to be able to build up as they realize we should pull out of here, take the reset. So eventually end up will taking the point. 84% still in one fight territory. And Meek is going to come down to them with the beat, being able to read when Coach wants to come in for this barrage. That's going to be the important interaction right there.
Yep, it's all, I think this is all up to Meek right now. Meek has to time this properly and just be kind of looking for Coach on one of these cheeky flanks. So that's all I'd like to say. That's tough.
100%. And with Classy already down, they're just going to go ahead and double down a little bit here, but that's perfectly fine, honestly. Clean things up. You make sure you solidify this very first point. So they back out. I mean, Meek could touch, but I don't think there's any point in trying to do so. I think they'll just reset with the team, get ready for second point.
Yeah, I agree. Once that first pick came out onto Classy, that was just, go next. Go next point.
I mean, literally. So, Workers Union coming out. Still going to have the barrage, have that blade coming up very shortly as well. Biggest thing right now, though, is that we do have that wall coming through as the window going to start things up here. Wall to be placed down beautifully so, and here comes that barrage, still waiting in the background, but literally just refusing to use it. No barrage, any percent run going on right now, as eventually Workers Union, again, going to take this fight, will eventually unlock the point and take it as well. And Coach, legitimately just not even interested in the barrage at this point.
Yeah, I guess Coach just likes the rockets more so than like the big, multiple rockets at one time. Individual rockets are more fun, right? Where's the fun in just shooting them a barrage? There's no fun in that. You can get kills just by spamming them. Yeah,
100%. Again, Blade going to be online. Meek, again, going to still have that beat to be able to counteract it, but Workers Union still have that confidence about them. But Classicans do have the ability to still change these around and take a fight. With Coach already down, it is possible, but they need to stop Hollywood from being able to get this res, and they're going to get it scot-free as Narnar gets to, going to send Ben back in with the blade, trying to hunt down for more. Ben's going to come online, is going to hope to get somebody from it if Narnar goes down. Damage, though, already has been done here to Classy's Kittens. Swanky hoping to find one more. Unfortunately, the damage is just a little too much to withstand. We're going to double down here on the point and eventually going to clean things up here. Force Classy out of there, who's trying to find just the pick somehow. Unfortunately, won't be able to at the expense of Coach getting another pick. And now, point will go their way. Coming down to this potential final point here as, again, they are just that confident of a team. And Classies just have not found the answer throughout this entire series.
Yeah, and side note, I hate that we missed Coach's barrage. Like, it happened at some point there, and I don't know when.
Nope.
Classy's also swapped onto this Tracer, and that seems to have been really helpful so far. I do want to add that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Swanky is kind of being enemy number one, took a lot of damage. Is going to stay alive for the time being right now. As right now, just hoping that Classy is able to get this online, about to have that Pulse Bomb ready to go. Ideally want to try to go for one of the supports if possible. Unfortunately, you can't do that when you're heading back to the spawn room. Already one going to be found. Coach hoping to find another, and they're already 70% to that next barrage. Will eventually get taken out, so Classy's Kittens in a 4v4 situation. Still have the consuming rush, but again, managed to stay alive long enough to be able to bring Coach back into the engagement. Will find one pick. Workers Union does flip the point their way, but this is a winnable situation now for Classy's Kittens right now. Forcing some people off the point. Pulse Bomb comes online. Unfortunately, not able to do anything about it here, as Coach still has the barrage, is up in the air. Very winnable scenarios. They're going to come down directly on Swanky's face, taking them out. Hoping to find another. Going to separate a little bit. Cleanse going to come out. Needs to find this pick onto Donut. As again, another res going to come out. Milk, the double support back as Worker Union interested in still taking this fight.
Oh my goodness. The fact that Coach stayed alive that long is insane, and it looks like Workers Union is about to turn this.
Yeah, and Classic just decided we're backing out. We're good. We know we would nothing to do with that right now. As eventually Workers Union will be able to put the point. And now fives are being thrown on the point. Now that it's given up right now, Hollywood sitting at 1, not going to be taken out. Going to survive. Is going to float around. Is just going to play back and forth. Hollywood will get them. Closecast is not able to clean things up. And now Classy's Kittens going to be forced out of this engagement because they cannot afford to lose Heatplay here. Your next engagement is your last.
Hey, shout out to Hollywood again. You know, Lucio players always have like weird text that they have on every single hero, including Mercy for some reason. So I'm not surprised that they were able to pull the GAT out and get that kill right there. It should be a good. Oh, hold on.
Yep, and they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink. There's already 3 ults being used. Miblizzard going to go down here, eventually going to clean this one up. So Workers Union cleared out. Classic Again's going to be able to take over the point. 94% for Workers Union. And now, no beat. A blade on the line. Hollywood going to go over to the Life Weaver now. And Narnar might just have a field day with this blade. This could be very scary.
I expect Hollywood to shoot and kill somebody through this amplification matrix. That's what I think is going to happen here. Get the damage boosted Life Weaver.
Yeah, Coach currently hitting the flank Torbjorn right now as Hollywood is taken out right now. Here comes the blade. Ends up finding one, getting help with the others as well. Cleaning things up here. It is just Meek who's on the point. Does manage to find one pick. Surviving and eventually going to be taken out with 94%. Nothing is going to be able to initiate the overtime. Going to get pushed away. No one making it back. Workers Union, a dominant win here in the losers bracket to knock Classy's Kittens out of it and move themselves into the next round, putting themselves another step closer to getting that rematch against Mythos.
Yeah, you can definitely, there was a definite difference between these two teams here today. And Workers Union showing that they can still compete for this for the championship here in this GM tier. They can definitely compete with UTOW, Mythos, and every other team that's left. So, and I believe they've already played and beaten Showtime, which is the team they'll be going up against next. So maybe Showtime has something for them, but they 3-0'd Showtime in that upper bracket last time. So we will see, I suppose.
Yeah, we're gonna have to here. But Showtime, you know, they did win their last matchup as well to kind of get to this point as well. So some level of momentum as well. But I mean, it's as we said, Workers Union, they maybe have unlocked the sauce at this point. This kind of happens with teams where sometimes you do hang around that middle area and there's something that changes, whether that's in the team, within the balance, within the coaching environment, that can cause a team to go from that middle of the pack to rise to a team that is in those high up upper echelons, which I'm looking forward to see if they're going to be able to do so. They're still going to have to win 2 more matches to get to those grand finals where they will hopefully get a rematch against Mythos, which that might be the banger to watch of all the grand finals, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to say Mythos is going to play UTOW in that upper bracket next.
Yeah.
And then whoever loses that one is going to play the winner of Showtime and now Workers Union. I believe that's how the bracket is going to play out. So Workers Union, if they can manage to beat Showtime, they will either play... Yeah, here we go. We can see the bracket. So Workers Union obviously going to move on, play Showtime, and then you can see up there Mythos and UTOW playing each other. So whoever loses that's going to drop down and play the winner of Showtime and Workers Union. So I think, yeah, all of these matches left in this tier look really good, especially that winners final and probably the grand final as well, I'd have to imagine.
I mean, it has to be. Like, these teams have played each other very closely, not only just historically in the past, but through this bracket already. I mean, we just want to see that clash eventually. And as long as, you know, Workers Union comes in and gets that dub against Showtime, that lower finals and that grand finals, they should be tight knit. They should be close as can be. And I'm really excited to eventually get to that point. But Shadowfang, I wish this was back to back. I wish this was all happening in one night, but unfortunately not the case.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see, if you will. So be on the lookout for this NAGM tier and all of our other matches that we're streaming as well. Yeah, we have Friday Night Overwatch tomorrow as well, so definitely tune in for that. You know, we all love our desk segments.
Yeah, 100%. I believe our stream will start up around, I believe, 7:30 p.m. EST, and match will officially start at 8 o'clock p.m. So make sure to come around for that. It is always a stellar time, so don't want to miss out on any of that. And any of the other action that's going to be going on this weekend for the second and eventually third rounds of these playoffs. But of course, kind of it for us here tonight. But you know what? Despite it being a short one, it's been a fun one. I'm excited that we can kind of get back into the playoff environment, because even if it's a 3-0 like this, it's still the playoffs. It's still exciting. There's, you can't quell that level of excitement.
Well, yeah, and like I said at the beginning, it's a new patch, so everybody's not playing Orisa, so like it's already more fun to me. Yeah, I already like it more.
I definitely agree there. We're going to get out of here in a moment, though. But of course, always an absolute pleasure, Shadowfang. Of course, you have to thank the people backstage, because, this is not possible without any of them. So, of course, we have a Blizzard and Valorant player over on The Observer, and Headrammer, of course, producing for us here today. So, always an absolute pleasure. But, of course, that's going to be it for tonight. Make sure you tune in for the rest of the weekend and for Friday Night Overwatch tomorrow night. But, of course, we will see you guys tomorrow.
See ya.